Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. And as always, presented by Great Southern Bank. Great Southern Bank with more than 100 locations in 6 states. Great Southern Bank, understanding what really matters. Member FDIC. We're on our Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks Athletes of the Week segment. We go back to Kickapoo. We were there 2.5, 3 weeks ago. We bring in the head coach, Leslie Hanchey. And Coach Hanchey, thanks so much for your time today.
Hey, thanks. Thanks for having us on.
Last time we had visited with you, you were getting ready to go on a stretch where you weren't going to be at home for a while, and you still haven't been at home for a while here as you're going through the Class 6 District 5 district tournament there at Glendale High School. Kind of take us through that from your point of view. Central kind of struggling, but then you get a good Ozark team and then a very good Republic team. Kind of take us through that.
Sure, yeah. So we played Ozark earlier in the year at the Pink and White, and so we were able to play them for the semifinal game of the district, and they are a great team. They have a couple of players that will end up probably being all district players, and I feel like we handled their press and their zone pretty well. Our girls kind of went on a little bit of a run. I think we ended up winning by 18 that game. Is that right? Do you guys remember?
Yeah.
21.
21. Okay. It didn't feel like that at times because we struggled at times. And then we had the big bad Tigers from Republic for the district championship, and great atmosphere, great game. Coach Flood had a great game plan, and we squeaked by against them, 2-point win. And that was a fun game.
And you go directly into the quarterfinals, as do all Class 6 teams. You get to travel to Lee Summit, and very good defensive effort by both teams in that game, 53-48. Kind of take us through that.
Sure. So they were a great team. Our girls came out and they were very composed. They kind of threw a little bit of I call it a junk defense. They kind of box and won Kaya here. And we kind of struggled at times, kind of figured out what to do. But at one point, we were up by 16 in the third quarter, and then the wheels kind of fell off, is what I like to say. About midway through the third quarter, we stopped scoring the basketball, and they got it within one with about 2 minutes left. But our girls turned up their defensive pressure and rebounded like crazy, and that was a fun game as well. That girls' basketball atmosphere throughout the whole postseason has just been awesome for our girls.
Yeah, you go to Lee Summit. Did your fans travel well?
Yeah, we had a pretty good turnout. Now, they had a great turnout, obviously, because it was their home crowd. Their student section was probably one of the better ones that we've seen this season. Everybody was there. It was loud. It was wild, and it was true postseason playoff basketball.
Got a couple of young ladies that are sitting beside you. They're your team captains. Kaya Johnson, who I've watched since her freshman year, and I've interviewed her a couple of times. And Michaela Pilley, that probably watched since she was like in the third grade. Did some radio with her many moons ago on Women's Sports Talk. But ladies, welcome and congratulations on behalf of the Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
And we'll start with the senior, Kaya. From your standpoint going into this season, did you have any team goals, personal goals coming in to the season?
I think with this season, we all kind of got together within like the first week or two, and we kind of figured out like what we want to do, what we want to accomplish. And I think a few of our goals were just staying together as a team. Whatever our record was going to be, we had a lot of good competition. And we knew that coming into this season. So I think some of our goals were just staying together and just working hard, coming in and out, coming in day in and day out, working hard together and pushing ourselves to be good. So, yeah.
You seem to be kind of the vocal leader on the floor, and obviously that's the reason why you're the captain. Tell us a little bit about what your responsibilities are there during games, as far as keeping your fellow players motivated.
Yes, absolutely. I think we always talk before games, after games, but I feel like the most important communication is during the games, because especially during this postseason run, we've had huge crowds, and most of the time it's against us. So it gets very hard to be able to communicate with everybody. So just bringing everybody in and making sure we're on the same page, whether we're in defense or offense. But I feel like the most important part is making sure that everybody's heads are up and that everybody still has the confidence. Everybody is still, we're not getting too involved in the crowd, that we are just staying within ourselves, staying within our team, and whatever Coach Hanchey's game plan is, that we're staying on that. So I feel like that's the communication piece that I have during the season.
Well, as I mentioned, you haven't played a home game since February the 22nd, and that was Rolla. And that was a tough fought battle. I mean, Rolla came into a very good team. That was a 7-point victory for the Lady Chiefs. How do you get prepared maybe differently when you're playing, when you know from here on out everything's going to be on the road? What's your mentality in getting prepared for that?
I think that going into all of these away games, even though we're in the home jerseys, that communication, I think, is a huge part, and knowing that, making sure that in practice that we're prepared. We know all our defensive sets, we know our offensive sets. So when we're in a game and it's loud and it's crazy, that we have hand signals, or we can communicate that. We can look at each other, talk with each other about that. So I think preparing that in practice, that makes it easier into a game where um, we can communicate that much easier.
And at this point, being a senior, this is kind of secondhand nature for you. You've done this so long. Now, as you head in, you got Corhezu Academy, but that'll be in Columbia, so that's a neutral floor.
I got to brag on Kaya a little bit. This will be Kaya's 5th Final Four as an athlete. She played volleyball for us and went to state how many times in volleyball?
2 times.
2 times, and this will be her. Is this her 3rd time with basketball?
Yeah.
So this is her 5th Final Four. So she's got a little bit of experience on some of our other kids.
Well, compare the volleyball Final Four, the 2 you went to the basketball Final Fours.
Oh my God! Oh, that is a comparison there. A lot of the same. We, especially this year, we had our quarterfinals game at Blue Spring South, and this year we went and had a little shoot around before we went to Lee Summit West, or Lee Summit, and it's kind of, when you hit postseason, especially, it's a different feeling, and that's what people have preached to me about, coming in 7th and 8th grade. And so this year, or these past 4 years, I've got to experience that postseason and that pressure. And one thing we really do, I think we do well, is how we play in the postseason, and it's different. It's not like regular season, because you're not guaranteed another game. If going into our last 4 games, like, we weren't guaranteed another game. So just going with that and making sure we all know that in the games that it's going to be okay, and we're gonna fight through this, whatever game, whatever situation we're in. That as long as we stay together, that we'll come out strong and we'll come up out on top.
Again, we're visiting with our Chevy dealers of the Ozarks, female athletes of the week here on the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com. The Kickapoo, Lady Chiefs, and Kaya. I may have asked you this question last time I interviewed you, and that is, if you could go back to that 8th grader, Kaya Johnson, and give her some advice based on what you know right now, what advice would you go back and give yourself in the 8th grade?
I would just, if I was an 8th grader right now, I would have been like, "What? This is not real. Like, this is not what are you doing? This is, like, where are you at? Like, it's unreal." I would tell myself to just keep working. It was hard for me through middle school and prior to middle school with the sports I was in, basketball and volleyball. So I would tell myself to keep working, even though those days keep getting harder and harder and you're not seeing any improvement. Just keep going, keep working, because it'll all pay off. And I think that's something that people preach all the time, but when you're in the moment and you're not seeing those results, it's hard to keep going. And so I would just tell myself, keep going, keep working, keep getting in the gym, keep getting those extra hours in, those extra reps, because it really will pay off.
And before I end this conversation with you, I got to ask you, have you made a decision as far as next year, what you're going to be doing?
I have decided to play volleyball at Missouri State University.
Outstanding. And what led to that? Is staying close to home?
Yes. I have a pretty big family here, so, and my grandparents are getting kind of older, and so one of the things is they're always at every one of my games. They always make the trip, make the drive, and so I wanted to. It felt like home. Missouri State felt like home, and they're able to come to my games, and I'll still be around the family and still be around Kickapoo a little bit. So
whether she likes it or not.
Very good. Well, again, on behalf of Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks and the Missouri State Highway Patrol, congratulations for being part of the Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks Athletes of the Week.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And now, Michaela, it's been a while since we visited.
I know.
Tell us a little bit about what your roles and responsibilities are on the team.
My role right now is just kind of facilitate, I guess. Kaya's our main leader, and she's really good at what she does. And I kind of try and have Kaya's back because she has a lot on her plate and a lot to control. So I want to be there kind of like the second leader on the team, and then just trying to make the best decisions for the team, whether that's scoring, passing, or getting a rebound.
Coming into this 2023-24 season, did you have personal and or team goals?
Yeah, absolutely. I have goals for myself and for our team written on my door that I wrote at the beginning of the season. And coming in to the season and talking about those goals, I'm glad that everybody was on the same page for what we wanted to accomplish. At first, I was a little, I'm going to be honest, I was a little like doubtful a little bit, but as the season started going, I realized how together we were and realized that we can accomplish anything.
How has your role changed from last year as a sophomore to this year being a junior? And maybe it hasn't, but if it has, how has it changed?
I think it's definitely changed just a little bit. Not as drastically as from my freshman to my sophomore year, but there were definitely some times last year where I might not have been the best like scorer or something, or might not have done everything I need to in the stat sheet. And I feel like this year I've been a little more consistent, whether that's scoring or rebounding, and just trying to stay consistent for my team and not trying to get down.
Outstanding. Well, Michaela, on behalf of Chevrolet, Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks and the Missouri State Highway Patrol, congratulations on being part of the Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks Team of the Week.
Thank you so much.
And back to Coach Hanchey here as you prepare. Number one, what's it going to be like between now and the 15th? When are you going up? What's your travel? What are your practice plans? I know you're on spring break right now.
Yep. So we already had practice this morning, so I made them get out of bed on their first day of spring break. They love that, which they should be used to it because we practice in the mornings throughout the school year as well. But we'll practice Tuesday and Wednesday here, and then Thursday we will travel up to Columbia and have a practice up there at Columbia College. Friday morning we'll have a shoot around as well, and then play at 2 p.m. on Friday against Jorge Zoo. It will be a battle. It'll be a great game. This week I really want our girls to enjoy it and have fun because these opportunities don't come around a lot. This is not it's never guaranteed. So even though there may be a little bit extra pressure, they also need to have fun. And these will be memories, core memories that they will have for the rest of their lives. I remember as a player going to state, and I remember now that it's back in Columbia, I have very fond memories of being at Mizzou Arena. And so they really need to enjoy it, have fun, and also be ready to go to work.
Now you've got Jorge Zoo Academy and similar stat lines defensively, but offensively you guys are scoring a little bit more points. What do you know about Jorge Zoo, and what are you going to have to do to come out on top?
They're very similar to us. They're very guard heavy. They're very fast. They love to push tempo and try to get out in transition just like we like to do. They have a pretty solid post player as well. They kind of remind me of Lee Summit in terms of, Lee Summit had a big post player and then really fast guards. So we're going to have to be able to defend and defend without fouling. That was kind of our Achilles heel. On Friday, we kept putting them at the free throw line, and I think if we just, it's going to be different being on a college floor. We may get a little bit more tired. I may have to use my timeouts more sooner rather than later than I have in the season. But I think if we just stick to our game plan of doing what we've done since day one in October, I told the girls we've been going since October. If we just stay true to us, we're going to give ourselves a really good shot.
Well, outstanding again, Coach. I really appreciate you helping get this set up and go up there and bring back the biggest trophy, and we'll do it again next week.
Deal. Sounds great.
You're watching the Missouri Sports Network at MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Presented, as always, by Lyuna Laborers Local 663, who reminds us, hey, drive safely in those work zones. Those folks want to go home to their families as well. Everybody have a great day. God bless.
Chevy Silverado. It's got the power you want and the capability you need to do the job, so you can get to the important work. Find new moments, find new roads. Get a $500 cash allowance on all 2022 Silverado pickups with a 2.7-liter turbo engine. Plus, unlock your code to claim $500 Chevy Cybercash. Visit ChevyCybercash.com today.
Imagine a bank that goes where you go, creating seamless solutions for every step in your financial journey, allowing you to manage your money the way you want to, with a banking relationship that makes every day extraordinary. Imagine a world full of possibilities, always within reach. Central Bank.